Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hobby Lodge. This is going to be one of those videos where I just talk for a little bit and hopefully put some videos and some pictures over the top whilst I'm talking. And I'm not going to go on about it for too long, but I just wanted to do a quick video because we've just got back from the Birmingham NEC as a family from UK Games Expo 2023. Now, if you don't know what UK Games Expo is, it is essentially, I think it's now the largest expo in Europe for all things tabletop. So that's board games, war games, RPGs, role-playing, card games, anything that basically happens in and around the table, maybe with dice, cards and people. This is what this event's all about. So yeah, me and the boys, in fact even my wife and my daughter got involved, and we all went up to some family events up in the north. I guess it's Midlands, probably more accurately. And afterwards, on the way back home, we made a bit of a detour into Birmingham NEC. Really easy to get to. For us, it's like, you know, it's M1, M6, M25, all of that combination. So super easy to get to. The NEC has tons of parking, really easy access for trains, planes, and automobiles. So yeah, you can get there really simply, and the event is 3 days. Now, we were only there for one. We have in the past done multiple days, and I would recommend, if you can get away with it, do multiple days. It is so blooming huge. There's so much to do that another couple of days might be needed, because whilst there is an awful lot to buy there is a lot of people selling stuff, from big companies to one-man bands who've created a game that they just want to get out there to the public. Actually, a huge amount of the expo, something they pride themselves on, is the ability to play games. So sit down on your own with some strangers, people you meet, or with the family, whoever it might be, or just with a demo person who's showing the game off, and playing these games and experiencing them yourself. Of course, if you then love the game, take it home with you and play it with everybody else. But yeah, for me, this was all about getting back some hobby mojo. You know, on this channel we do an awful lot in the past around painting miniatures, playing board games, doing some tutorials, having fun with the family and doing this stuff, and then we drifted off into the world of video games, because that's another big passion of mine, the retro video game stuff, and we've done that for a lot. We've focused on a lot of that recently, and I want to get the balance back, because the Hobby Lodge is all about hobby, all things hobby, be that 3D printing, video gaming, board gaming, painting miniatures, movies, just fun, geeky, hobby type stuff, right? We want to get into all the toys, all of these things. And this was to try and reignite that spark. And I can firmly say it has 100% done that. Walking around today, especially with my kids and playing games with them, brought back the good feelings we have when we sit down and we play a game together and we have great fun. It is actually the original reason why the Hobby Lodge was built. I wanted a large space with a big table. The table behind me is 6 foot by 4 foot for a very specific reason. One, because you can fit a lot of people around it, and two, that is the largest size tends to be used in big wargaming games. But it also doesn't help having a big table for just having, you know, a big board game. Sometimes board games can be pretty large, right? So yeah, walking around, seeing how excited people are about their games, especially these new creators out there. Of course, you've got the big companies that you'd expect to see, but then you've got these kind of small content creators, but small board game creators, people with ideas, trying to get into Kickstarters. You know, people creating their own RPG campaigns for D&D and other game systems. Just really, really great fun, and seeing them all just show their passion, show their love for what they do, has massively reignited my desire to get back into the swing of things, back into painting miniatures, back into playing games on the table behind it, hopefully recording it for people that may be interested, but really ultimately just playing and spending good time with the kids as we sort of go through these adventures in these games. So yeah, what else can I say about the event? I mean, it's great coverage by the On Tabletop team. I've got friends that work in that company and are part owners of that company, and it was great seeing them because they've been good to me over the years, just as good mates. I've done a few little collabs with them on bits and pieces, but first and foremost, these are people I met on the internet, on forums. We got chatting, we built friendship over the years, and it was great to see them in person, because with all what's gone on over the last few years, it's made those sort of chance meetings not happen very often. And even if it was only for a brief sort of 5-10 minutes with each person that I met, because everyone was super busy, either running stuff or yeah, playing stuff or doing whatever they do, trying to have their own days out. It's just great to spend time with people and say hello. And hopefully next time we get more time each time, more time we go to these things. So yeah, that was really nice. So shout out to all of those people that I met. You know who you are, and yeah, you're all very special to me because that friends group is important. Yeah, if you get a chance, whether you're got a family or not, if you've not seen the plethora of games that are out there on the tabletop, that is the place to go. I would say if you have got a family, it is easily a 2-3 day out. There's loads of hotels nearby if you want to do it. You can stay over. There's food, there's cosplay, there is tons of open space to play games. So whilst you might have big halls selling stuff, there's also just umpteen hundreds of empty tables or tables with games set up on. You can sit down and play, and if you need help, you put your hand up, someone will come over and they will help you understand what the rule you might be stuck on or whatever it might be. But just a great place to go and play games, and you could do it for 3 days straight if you want. But there's also competitions you can do. There's just a great atmosphere. There's talks going on. There's even stuff that goes on into the evening. So the hotels around the UK Games Expo are all pretty much taken over as well. So even when the expo closes, you can then go to the Hilton, which is literally a 5-minute walk away, 10-minute walk away. And that's all got events going on as well throughout the night. So you can then go and continue playing before you go up to your hotel room and crash, or, you know, from just being exhausted from the day. So yeah, I think next year we'll go back again, and we'll hopefully definitely go back to doing the 2-3 days. We've done 3 days once, and we've done 2 days, and the 1 day for me is never enough because you're always thinking about when you're going to get there, get lunch in, get some stuff done, and then you're always thinking about getting home. So it kind of breaks the day up a little bit, where when you know you can stay, you just chill, you just go, we're going to play games until late at night, and we've done that, and it's been great fun. So next year hopefully we'll do at least an overnight, but maybe we'll do the full 3 days, we'll see. So yeah, I guess you're going to be interested in what I purchased, and the answer is going to be not a lot. In fact, really nothing. And oh my god, what a boring video. But I'm going to say that actually I don't need to purchase anything, because a lot of what they have for sale, I already own it. I own so many board games and card games and other games, and I just wanted to give you some examples of some stuff and then show you those, so you could have bought these whilst you were there. So one that it's actually a couple of versions of this game. So this was here, it's called Escape the Dark Sector, and this is by a company called Themeborn. Now they did an original game called Escape the Dark Castle, and it's a really, really cool game. If you've ever seen the Fighting Fantasy books from Syrian Livingstone, who was actually at the event, I forgot to take something up there. I've got a book on Commodore 64 game that I meant to get signed, but I'm definitely going to take it next time to get him to sign it for me. But yeah, this is a really cool, and if I show you on the back, a really cool art style. You're going through this kind of like, I don't know if it's you're escaping this thing here, like this massive great big space fortress, and you're rolling dice, you're taking chances, you're collecting gear, you're fighting monsters, and you're probably gonna die. But it's basically taking the Escape the Dark Castle, which was all set in a high fantasy sort of theme, and put it in space. So it's a really cool game. I've owned it for some time. We've played Escape the Dark Castle plenty of times. We haven't really played this, and that's a crime because I've had it for so long. So that's why I don't need to buy it, because I've already got it. We just need to play it, and that's kind of going to be the theme for this, is play the games. So another one I was going to show you. Let me find a place to put that. Let's put that there. Okay. Another one that was there was Relic Blade. So this is a little skirmish game, a little fun, quick to play. Some really cool miniatures in there, which you can paint or not. It's entirely up to you. Try painting them if you can. They definitely play better when they're painted. But a little skirmish game. One-on-one, get into an arena, kill each other. One of you plays some bad guys, one of you plays some good guys, and it's a really cool, easy to pick up and play. And this is the new version of it. I've still got the old version as well, but again, I've fully painted the game. I have all the miniatures for this all painted up. Never played it. That's a crime, so I need to do that. Another one that was at the show, Moonstone. Everyone loves Moonstone. Moonstone is a game, and I will, if I can, put some footage up, because I've got videos on the channel of me painting this and showing off the display. My dog's now barking. It's outside noise. So this is a fantastic game. This has a gambling aspect in it, a bluffing, and telling your opponent you're doing something, but you might not be doing something. testing your wit against someone whilst you're playing, whilst you're collecting the Moonstone and trying to win the game. But the miniatures are just so characterful, and the environment and the story behind it is just such a fantastic thing. Again, I've played it a couple of times at expos, on demo games. I've painted an entire set of the stuff, which I'll show videos of. I must have about 20 odd miniatures of this already painted. It's a beautiful game, but I don't play it anywhere near as much as I should, and therefore this is something else I want to get back on the table. Another one I'll show you. I could do this all day. Another guy who was there was a guy called Ollie. He runs this company here, which is the Story Masters Tales. And by the way, I'll put links to some of this stuff below. I'll show footage of some of this stuff. But these are basically your Dungeons and Dragons in a box, right? So if you're a bit, you've heard of D&D or you've heard of role-playing games, but you don't quite know how to do it, you don't know how to tell your own story, you maybe just want to play with the kids or play as a group, but you're just missing like who's going to be the dungeon master, who's going to do all this stuff. These boxes solve that problem because everything is done in a book, and all you have to do is read the page and then let your group decide what they're going to do, right? And most of the time it's done by dice rolling. So in here you've got these amazing artwork and amazing pages to read out. And then in there is decisions that need to be made whilst you're doing that. And there's all different styles for this game as well. Some are fantasy, some are Lovecraftian, some are horror based, and they all have a little bit of a twist in how they're played. They're not all exactly the same, just with a different skin on it. They all have different mechanics in the games. But these are just lovely, and also just lovely things. They are like, if you're a collector of stuff, these things are lovely. I have pretty much the entire product line that Ollie does. So yeah, I could easily grab another one here, which was the Story Masters Towers, and then there's the Weirding Woods, there's the dungeon one, there's this one, there is just loads. There's a hotel one that's a bit more horror themed, a bit more adult, so if you wanted to play that. And then there's the games behind me. I just grabbed a couple. I could have gone and got HeroQuest. There are new expansions for the original HeroQuest, which is amazing, right? I mean, I know everyone probably knows that a new version of HeroQuest came out, and I was a bit, I didn't like it. I was never going to pick it up because I own a fully painted HeroQuest set from the original, and I was like, I'm not interested in a new version. But then talking with the people, and this is why it's great to go, because you learn stuff while you're there, talking to the people at the show, the new expansions that come out are backwards compatible with the original game, the original from 1989. So you don't need to buy the new version of HeroQuest. You already own it. You can just go and buy some of the new expansions. And I'm not talking Heller's Keep or the other ones, which Return of the Witch Lord, the two that came originally. This is there's a Frozen Wastelands one, and there's also a Mirror Mages, and there's also another one coming as well. So those are all just expansions you can buy. You could obviously use the miniatures that come in there, or you could find proxies that are more sort of, akin to the original miniatures if you wanted to, but all the rules and everything else are backwards compatible, so they all work together. So that's a really cool thing that you can do. But yeah, otherwise, the Dark Souls board game, a lot of people hate on the Dark Souls board game, but we really love it in this house. It is a cooperative go up against rooms of monsters and then take on a big boss. Are you going to die? Yes. That's Dark Souls. Like, I think people don't like the fact that you die really easily in the game. That's Dark Souls. You gotta get good and play well if you want to survive in not only the video game but the board game as well. Core Space, the Core Space team were all there. So this is Battle Systems. They do fantastic terrain that all clips together and makes these weird and wonderful looking tables for you to play your games on. And this is actually a game that they've created, and it has a really cool narrative part to it. So whilst you're playing your space adventure, you're a pirate, you're an assassin, you're part of a world order trying to take over. Whilst you're in between your turns, the world is living as well. Things are happening outside of your control, but could influence what you may do in the game later on. So a really cool game. Marvel Crisis Protocols there, just one of the many card deck building games. So maybe you're not into miniatures, maybe you're not into dice, or maybe you just want to build epic decks and destroy your opponents and do things like that. I've played this on stream before. It's actually a really cool little game. But there was so many expansions for that game available to buy. And then you don't have to get those massive games. You can get small games. You've got epic tiny adventures there. That comes in many different forms, or just little deck building games. I could literally walk around here and grab, you know, Dungeon Saga, Arkham Horror, Pathfinder, the Blood Bowl, Super Fantasy Brawl, Nemesis. Oh, Nemesis. I love Nemesis as a game. You should definitely check that out. Mansions of Madness. Betrayal at House on the Hill. There was a new version of Betrayal at House on the Hill, so that's definitely something I'm going to want to check out. Betrayal at House on the Hill is such a cool game if you've not seen it. It is essentially one game, and then something happens, and someone in your team is going to become something else, and then the game completely changes. So it has a really good twist element in the game. The world is bigger than Cluedo and Monopoly. That's all I'm going to say. So many games. So look, you know, that's it. That's all I'm going to talk about. But hopefully you're going to see loads of more cool stuff coming out from the channel around wargaming, board gaming, card gaming, and all of those things, because I've absolutely had that mojo bar refilled, and yeah, can't wait to get stuck into some of these things. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you get a chance, go to UK Games Expo in 2024. You won't regret it, I promise you. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you on the channel, and we can maybe we can work out how we can play a game together. If you're up for that, let me know. But anyway, cheers everybody, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.